Hi everyone, I'm Dixon Jones. Thanks for coming to see me today. I'm coming in because a couple of days ago I went up to the Majestic offices. I haven't been up there all year, but they demoed something which I think is going to change the way in which we look at links in the industry. And I wanted to take this opportunity to show it to you guys. It's the first time I've gone through it properly, so apologies if I stop and start a little bit, but I think it's really important for the industry because it's taken links to an absolutely new level, and there's nothing else out there that does the same sort of thing. So let's jump right in and go and have a look at a website. I've taken the British Heart Foundation. That's a massive charity in the UK. I thought I'd start with a charity, and we already know there's nothing changed here so far. We know that the British Heart Foundation is a good website. We already knew that it was about health conditions and diseases because we knew the context of the pages that were linking into British Heart Foundation. However, when we started to drill down, that context at a granular level became much less clear. So let's go and have a look first at how the backlinks were displayed up until the launch of this new context stuff. And here's the top links coming through. David Lloyd is a massive gym in the UK, a gym network in the UK, and Motherwell FC is a football club in Scotland. ASH is Action on Smoking and Health, which is, of course, an anti-smoking lobby. GeorgeHarrison.com, well, that's George Harrison probably. And then a bunch of other ones here, including Record Collector Mag and ASPHO and other ones here. So we already knew, of course, how strong those web pages were, and we knew little things like whether the link was in an image, for example. What we didn't really know is the context of that link. And nowhere else do we know it in the same level of detail as we have now. So what they've done is taken this information, see David Lloyd at the top here, and switched it to this information, which is a context tab. And it's actually the same list. It's really an elaboration of the same list. So you've still got David Lloyd, Motherwell FC, Action on Smoking and Health. But now we bring the whole of the information to life. So before, all you could really do is start searching on this information about, and ordering the information. But now we have a whole new lot of information. It's worth taking a couple of minutes to understand what we're seeing here. So let's take this first link here from David Lloyd. David Lloyd, we knew already, was a strong website. Trust flow of 59 out of 100, citation flow 49 out of 100. So you would think that that's a really good link. But what they've done now is taken it to life, brought the whole link to life. So, for example, what they've done is initially played catch up, and they've got all the text surrounding the link itself. So there appears to be no link text after the British Heart Foundation, but there is text before the link itself. So this green here shows the link in context. So on this one, for example, we've got British Heart Foundation here, and we've seen it in the middle of the context, and we've got the information that immediately precedes it and the information that's immediately after it, and that's the same with every single link. So we can start to see the text surrounding the link, but we can see so much more of that as well, because we can also see, for example, in the David Lloyd one, that there is a link here in the surrounding text, and that's linking to their app. We've got different things here. We've got their partners, and again a link in an image, and their link, the British Heart Foundation, again in an image. So it's an image link, and that's interesting in its own right, but it's also interestingly right next to the address of the David Lloyd head office. We have other information under here about the link density. Now, the link density is really very interesting because it takes how many other links are in that segment and then works out all of the other segments on the web page and the other external links. And it says that 3% of the content that surrounds the primary anchor text is part of other links. So in other words, there is a link density of in this case 3%, whereas in this one down here from Motherwell, 82%. So this is entirely surrounded by other links, and there happens to be other links that are all in images as well. This one here, 25 link density, and over here it is just a set of links, because everything that surrounds a link to the British Heart Foundation is a link in its own right. And you can see the individual links here. You can also see which ones are external by hovering over the external links, and if there were internal links, you'd see those as well. So in this one, hover over and the internal links show up in blue, so you can see exactly what's happening around the links that we're interested in without leaving Majestic at all. If you wanted to, you can also drill down here and it will bring up the raw HTML in which the link is found. So this is why we've got the link right at the bottom of the web page, right at the bottom of the HTML. This kind of brings the whole thing to life, and it gets even more interesting when we start to have a look at this interesting new visual on the right hand side. So this new visual on the right hand side is a representation of the entire web page that is linking through. And what they've done is something very, very clever. It's taken no doubt a huge amount of computer programming power, a lot more increases in the resources, but it's a massive improvement. They've segmented the whole of the web page into 40 different segments, and they show you the link densities of all of the links, internal and internal, as you go down the page. So it's not surprising that they've actually applied for a patent for this visualization, because I think there's a huge amount of innovation that's gone into developing it. So let's have a look at this. So this is the page for davidlloyd.co.uk, and we know over here that there's 158 internal links and 8 external links on the page. What's interesting here is that we can see how many links are in each section of the HTML. So the blue shows internal links, and then the yellow shows external links. So the yellow comes out to the right, and we can see here external links are all stuck down at the bottom, including this green line here showing the link to the British Heart Foundation in this case. Now this is a really interesting chart, I think, because it starts to show us different types of websites, and I think there should be quite a lot of research into what different types of sites seem to show. For example, this Motherwell Club here, where all of the links are at the bottom in sort of in images here. Yes, they are, but there are some other good links in the middle of the page as well. I would rather that we had our link up here, but unfortunately we don't. Well, why don't we? Well, we can again go over here and say, well, the British Heart Foundation is now linked next to paddypower.com, it's a gambling site, paycare.org, an internal link to topcatblinds.co.uk, sorry, an external link, cash converters, and all of a sudden this link on Motherwell FC doesn't seem to be quite so valuable, because it's just a list of footer images. Whereas this link here on Action on Smoking and Health is very much in a little bit more text. So it's got a link density of 25, which means there are links around it, but at least it's got some text saying Ash receives funding from, and then there's a link to cancer research and the link to the British Heart Foundation. Okay. This one here, you see on the right hand side, external links everywhere, but it's really just a directory. And all of a sudden we change our opinion of it, because although it's a list of charities, that's all it is. So if you recommend and believe in George Harrison's foundation, then it's good. If you don't, then it's just a directory. So it takes the whole of the link information and takes it up to a new level. And what you really want are links like this. So this is the Public Health Guide, APHO Public Health Guide, and we see a lovely link in a bunch of text. The British Heart Foundation, charitable organisation, find information about it. It's the only link in the whole of the segment. So a link density of 0, that's the perfect link density. We can also then see that it's high up on the page, and this is the kind of link that you would want. But there's no way that you'd know this and see how much stronger this link is compared to the other ones with the old style of looking at links, because the old style of looking at links really didn't break down and look at the link in context. Whereas this does, and you start to see everything you need to know about a link on a page. I think it's going to change the way you look at things. I commend it to the house, as they say in British politics, and I hope that it disrupts the industry a little bit.